Alright, it's time to do some Ninja Gaiden 3, the ancient ship of doom. Once again, the incredibly buff Ryu Hayabusa is on the box. This time, he is kneeling on top of water. He doesn't express that ability in the game, but he's doing it there, and he's swinging his sword out at us, challenging us to complete the adventure. As you can see on the back of the box, it says that we have thrilling new cinema screens, exciting new power and weapon. Yeah, exciting new power instead of powers is right. There is one new power. It's very exciting. And we have an action-packed ninja adventure with the Ultimate Ninja Challenge. So, Ninja Gaiden 3. We've played Ninja Gaidens 1 and 2. I like them a lot. Ninja Gaiden 3 was the only one that I never beat as a child. Because, let me tell you, if you think the first game is hard, Ninja Gaiden 3 is absolutely the hardest game in the trilogy. It didn't necessarily have to be, but for whatever reason, Tecmo increased the difficulty of the North American release of this game. I don't actually know why they did that. There's a few reasons this is harder than the Japanese release. The two big ones are, in the US version, enemies deal more damage. So you can think about how many times you get hit by enemies in a Ninja Gaiden game. Well, every time that happens in this game, you just take more damage than you would have before. And the other big reason that it's harder is because, as opposed to the unlimited continues that they had in Ninja Gaidens 1 and 2, in this game, you have 5 continues. Which is a very strange decision. Because when playing Ninja Gaiden as a kid, the entire experience of that game was dying constantly and continuing constantly to make incremental progress as you go. And they completely changed that by giving you limited continues, because now you're gonna just burn those up real fast and then have to start from the beginning of the game. And I have no idea why they did it. It was a bad idea, but They did that for the US release. There are some other differences, but those are the two big ones that stick with me. That being said, Ninja Gaiden 3 is still a good game, though those changes were ill-advised. This game came out a year after Ninja Gaiden 2, and that game came out a year after Ninja Gaiden 1, so one game a year. This trilogy came out pretty rapidly, but then again, that's pretty common for NES games to have a rapid development. This was the final game of the NES Ninja Gaiden trilogy. So, let's get started. Let us begin this game, and we will experience the final story of Ryu Hayabusa, at least as far as the NES goes. Let's get going. Alright, we're starting off this game not with demons and such, as the previous ones like to be about, but this game starting off with a murder. Irene was investigating something, and now Ryu has been framed. Ryu has to discover what happened. We're going to Act 1. Ryu investigates the lab that Irene was investigating. Here it is. This is the lab. Let us find out what has science done. Apparently this is what science has done. What is this? Whatever it is, she was investigating something strange. So, this game, not so much about demons, and more about mad science. Here's a new weapon, by the way. You see that thing? It does this. That's our one new power-up of the game. Oh, also, I powered up my sword. You can see how my sword looks more like Strider Hiryu's sword now. It's a good thing. Those are the two new power-ups of the game. Unfortunately, the Shadow clones from Ninja Gaiden 2 do not make a reappearance. I think those were the fan-favorite power-ups of the second game. And the Jump and Slash from the first game still not here because that was way overpowered. They did not return that one. But as you can see, this lab is full of spider robots and slow-moving ninjas. And, like, pulsating organs and tanks. And that thing? Look at these things. Ryu makes his way to the center of the lab where he fights. Well, this. He just kind of spits fire at us. There we go. No time to explain, Ryu! Get out of here! Okay, we're in the desert now. Like Ninja Gaiden 2, this game is a bit vague on how Ryu decides where he's going to go or what our destination is. We have to go to Castle Rock. Is that a Stephen King reference? I don't know, but that's where we're going. And to do that, we've hit the desert. Watch out for quicksand. So we met a fellow in the lab who did not give us his name, but it says that he wants to help us, that he's on our side. He's going to give us info about who killed Irene, but we have to go there first. No time to tell us that in the lab. Alright, let's head underground. Into the lava caves. The caves that are full of lava. I assume that this nameless man just, I don't know, gave Ryu directions as to where Castle Rock is. Oh no, there's too much lava in this cave. There's too much. It is rising. The previous two games, Irene, you might remember, had a lot of experience being kidnapped. Oh, hold on, there's a scroll here. This scroll will increase my ninja power by 10. I have 50 ninja powers now. In the previous two games, Irene was most well known for being kidnapped. Not kidnapped in this game, just murdered right at the beginning. It just gets real serious right away. But the strange thing is, in that intro, we did see that Ryu was there, or someone who looks like Ryu anyway. Someone who was dressed like a ninja. So who was that Ryu, if it's not our Ryu? And that's what this Ryu has to find out. Alright, here's our second boss. And that's it. You know, in the first game I liked jumping up and swinging my sword to match the screen freezing, but this doesn't freeze, it just fades out. It's a little bit of a disappointment in that way. And now we're in the jungle. And in a strange thing, it wants us to go left. Going left in an 8-bit platform instead of right? How could it make us do this thing? It feels wrong. Anyway, that was Foster. You might remember him from Ninja Gaiden 1 as the CIA boss that sends Ryu on his mission to go to Brazil, to go to the temple where the Jockey-O was. He also betrays Ryu at the end and tells Irene to kill him, which Irene does not. Well, Foster's back to wrap up that loose end in the plot. But why is Foster here? And apparently Castle Rock belongs to him. We haven't arrived at Castle Rock. Foster were the defenses around Castle Rock enough for you, so I guess we are still heading towards the Castle Rock Fortress. Now we're in, like, an organic cave. Like, it's kind of like a vertical cave, but it also looks like it's made of organ meat or something. I just feel like they had a lot of ideas for the levels in this game and their design, and it didn't seem like they really explained them much in the cutscenes. We're here, we're in this place. I'm not sure where this place is or why it looks like this. It looks kind of neat. There's a potion. Well, I don't really need the potion because we haven't taken damage yet. Brag, brag, brag. Here's a scroll down here. My magic went up to 60. You're like little meat puffs. Shoot fireballs at you. It seems like the enemies... There's like a lot of new designs for the enemies, but you kind of miss the simplicity of football players running across the screen. The days of running Jim and Hustle and Stan. Hold on, we got boss. We got twin bosses. They throw throwing stars at us, but our fire shield can block them. There we go. data! He's got the combat data! Many question marks at the end of that sentence. Well, oh no! Ryu has an evil clone, and the clone is apparently better than Ryu is. But we're continuing to approach Castle Rock, as we are in an area that apparently has an upside-down background. Like, at the bottom of the screen is a red sky, and then above it is an upside-down mountain range, and then above that are some trees. Castle Rock is a strange place. So that little cutscene with evil Ryu, little throwback to Ninja Gaiden 1. The way that Ryu's father died, but Ryu fortunately survived this encounter. But only because, apparently, it was Foster's orders not to kill Ryu. Alright, anyway, we got spikes. The spikes retract? Let's avoid getting hit by the spikes. The spikes don't kill you in one, but they do a lot of damage. I'm not sure where we are. Like, I know I've said this a couple times. But we went to the desert, and then to a tropical jungle, and now we're in this place. And they keep telling us about approaching Castle Rock. But I assume this is still not Castle Rock. We are still on our way there. Anyway, it's boss time. Well, almost got him before he could attack. But he went underground, and he was shooting our own fire wheel at us. So surprise, it's a Resident Evil prequel. And here's our castle cutscene. So this is it. Now, Clancy just said that Foster rebuilt the temple because at the site of the demon's death, there was a seam between realities that gave access to the life energy. So I don't know if that's saying that this is supposed to be the same castle as the first game, but been rebuilt. It sounds like that's what he said. I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to take from it. If it was, you would think Ryu would realize that he's been heading towards the site of the temple from the first game all this time, but he hasn't mentioned it. But anyway, yes, that's how this game connects to the first game. When Ryu killed the demon, created an interdimensional seal, and now all that sweet, sweet life energy is coming out of there and being used for evil science. Science gone wrong. We have to stop Foster from doing this irresponsible science. Creating these bionoids. But that would explain where the Ryu clone came from. Here's a new enemy. The slowest tripod. The slowest tripod shoots the slowest laser. See? There it is. The purpose of the slow laser is to make you duck under it so you don't get hurt, but you can't actually move while you're doing that, so you might get hit by something else. Lasers are generally fast. This laser is designed to be slow. Here's a bridge. It is collapsing. Very poorly made bridge, Foster. Very poorly made. Let's get this one up. This bridge is not OSHA approved. So does that mean that all of the enemies and monsters in here are on the CIA payroll? Or has Foster just gone rogue and gone into business for himself? I mean, it could potentially be that Ryu is fighting against the U.S. military itself, the U.S. government itself here, I should say. It's time for Ryu versus Evil Ryu. Though Evil Ryu, I mean, he defeated Ryu the first time, but now all he does is kind of just, like, jump back and forth like this while throwing stars. I don't know, it kind of seems like a downgrade. Not Clancy. Not Clancy! And so, Ryu has entered the subspace to follow Clancy. Foster attempted to do so, but was torn apart because he has a normal human body and not a tough Dragon Clan body that can take getting blasted. So I don't know why Clancy was able to survive. These crystals are ice, by the way. Like, we run on them a little bit and there's like, you know, we slide. That's always fun. Oh, here's a classic Ninja Gaiden enemy. This pumpkin head guy. Like, I would... Never sure what the deal with this guy is. Why does his head look like that? I don't know, but he's back. Oh no, I got knocked down. So the plot twist has happened. Clancy was the bad guy all along. Well, Foster was also a bad guy. Clancy, though, used us to take control back of the ruins because Clancy wants the power of the life energy all to himself. And now we're just like in this real internal organ-ish looking part. I'm sinking into the mush. From the crystal section, we go to whatever this is. Following that dang Clancy. Oh, there's a scroll up there. Let me get it. Now I have 80 ninja magics. Still, doesn't seem like these bionoids are all that much to talk about, considering that Ryu just killed his clone and really didn't have too much of a problem doing it. The true power was ninja the whole time. It was always ninja. Ninjas can defeat demons and mad science. Why isn't the CIA harnessing the power of ninja? Ryu, check out my hot body. You can't possibly compete with this. So, I originally thought this was Foster, who had turned into a Bionoid. But some other people say that this is actually the Ryu clone, and that in the Japanese language it's more evident that it's the clone. I don't know that for sure. I always thought it was Foster. Alright, we have finally arrived on the titular Ancient Ship of Doom. It's the final level. Clancy has assumed his seat of power as he is now blue, and also in command of the ship. The ship can make big explosions, and it's now the source of all life. And it was a good thing that the ship has these landing struts, otherwise Ryu would have just fallen. It's not the first time Ryu has fallen victim to the trapdoor. He fell victim to it in the first game as well. Alright, now we're inside the ship. So Clancy was not really interested in in making Bionoids, I guess. That was Foster's deal. Clancy's all about that sweet ride. That ancient ship. Did Foster even know about the ancient ship? I don't know. had my eyes on that guy that was flying at me. Well, that's fine. Because that's where the checkpoint is, and we have plenty of lives. Also, watch out for that electrical thing on the wall. It does the same amount of damage as the spikes do, which is 6 health points. Also, need to make a careful jump here. Look at all these electrical things. I have to jump on that moving platform. There we go. Let's get the one up. And I got bounced. But I got the one up. So it evens out. We might remember from the earlier Ninja Gaiden games, the most common way to die in these games is to get bounced into pits. It's usually the way you will die. Fortunately, the 1-ups do come back. Alright, got past that jumping area. Now for platforms. So, even though the plot of this game has gone into interdimensional energy, once again, really not much about demons. First and second game were all about demons, but I guess they just wanted a little break from that with the third game, a little variety. Ryu can fight against evil science and interdimensional energy instead of demons once in a while. Get this potion. That's the last potion in the game. Look at this one enemy here. He has like a face shield. That's the only one of those guys in the game. I don't know why they made a custom enemy for that. He just walks slowly towards you. You kill him in one hit. There's a 1-up down there. We will take it. And now we're in the final area. Say hello again to our old friend Spikes. Except now they are here in wall form. There are many of them. Also, how about dissolving platforms that we will be attacked on? And here's the final scroll up here, which will give us 90 ninja magics. I forgot to mention that Ryu has a voice sample in this game. I mean, I'm sure you've been hearing that throughout the game. He didn't have that in the first 2 games. We can hear him go, ha, with the sword. Now, you look at this area here, and you might wonder, oh, where are we going? Where are we going now? That's a lot of spikes. Let's jump up a little bit, so we can see the safe place right here. Clancy is very serious about stopping Ryu, but Ryu was able to get past all the spikes. Alright, it's a clear path to the control room, the core of the ship, where it's time for the showdown with Clancy. Ryu has refused the offer. Clancy calls down lightning on us. First form down. But of course, it's Ninja Gaiden. These last boss rooms have 3 forms. We all know this. I only have 27 seconds left on that timer. I might have known this was what you were the whole time, Clancy. How did I not see this coming? We do have to rush. 19 seconds left. Only 16 seconds left on that timer. Alright, he's turned into a mech dragon, which is cool. Like, this is much cooler than those demon forms that we've seen, but I don't really know how this transformation happened. We have to destroy his shield before he can actually do damage, but I only have 4 seconds left. Well, his shield is down. I can hit his exposed navel. It's so sensitive, but I ran out of time. Alright, we begin here. Fortunately, this game is more generous with where it puts you after dying to the last boss than the first 2 games. You might remember in those 2 games, they start you at the beginning of the entire act. This game doesn't do that. Even though it's difficult in many other ways, it is actually more generous in this one instance. The timer has not been an issue before, and really was never an issue in the first 2 games. But when facing the last boss of this game, that timer is definitely something that will catch up with you. So we get to say hello to our old friends, the Wall Spikes, one more time. Fortunately, when we get back up to Clancy, we only have to do that 3rd form. The first 2 are dead. And for the mech dragon, we'll take the windmill star. Alright, come on now. You know, if I was Clancy, I would be very happy that Ryu did not die to my second form, because then I would realize, oh no, I'm like a torso on a wall. I don't want to stay like this. I would rather have the first form or the mech dragon, but I don't want to be the body hanging on the wall. I should have let him kill my second form, and then kill him with the third form. Anyway, the tender navel of the mech dragon is done. That's it for Clancy. Yes, a new day is beginning. But wait, hold on. Something's wrong. Oh no. Irene! It's the sun! It's come back for vengeance once again! We forgot about our true enemy, the sun! It's here to take us all! And with that, the world was burned to a cinder, and the Ninja Gaiden trilogy ended. Hit the credits. Cinema Disc Unit crew, who made these cinema scenes. Story was written by Emakama and Runmal. The artwork was BFR and Jun Hart and Kei Tomita. What about the program work? It was done by H. Sato and Emakama. Also director, Emakama. What about the action unit crew? They made the action scenes. Who did this? Well, the artwork was done by Onager and Takahara. Don't forget about BFR, though. The program work? Nobody. Nobody programmed the action in this, somehow. It just kind of happened. The director was Runmal. What about the sound unit crew? Well, the music composer was Miya and Kei Nakabai and El Shigeno. The sound effect by Miya. The one sound effect. And don't forget the director was more Yama-san. Gimme as much of that Yama-san as you can give me. And the special thanks to H. Ijima. The executive producer, H. Yoshizawa. and audiovisual copyright 1991. And that's the end. That is the end of the third and final Ninja Gaiden game. It's an odd game. I mean, it's still a good game. I don't know. The story was odd, like even compared to like the first and second game. I feel like the first and second games give you like the minimal amount of information to understand what's happening. This one is just I don't know. Irene's dead? Wait, hold on. Life energy, bionoids? Irene's not dead. Here's the ship. And the ship was only really the last stage. Ship didn't really play into too much, did it? The action was alright. I feel like the game was maybe a little slower, maybe a little floatier than the previous games. So I think I do like the really quick gameplay of Ninja Gaiden 1 more, though this game does... Well, Ninja Gaiden 2 and 3 fix a couple of problems from that first game. Like, for instance, enemies that keep constantly spawning if you're just standing on the screen in just the right way. So, it's still a good game. Like I said, oddly difficult. It didn't have to be as difficult as it was. I don't know why they decided it had to be harder. Okay, maybe increase the difficulty, but don't get rid of the unlimited continues. That was just a strange decision that made it unappealing to play back then. That you couldn't just keep trying indefinitely to try to make that small progress every time. It was just going to shunt you back to the beginning of the game if you had 5 continues. I just never understood that. Overall, I think this is the weakest of the three. And it doesn't really seem like the end of a trilogy, does it? Like, if you think about the second game seems like a direct sequel to the first one. The third one seems more like a side story, a Gaiden of the Gaiden. Something else that Ryu and Irene were up to at some point, just wrapping up that Foster storyline, but doesn't really seem like the ending of an entire trilogy. But still, that was it. That was the end. That is Ninja Gaiden 3. Still a good game. Music is good. I do think that the 3 Ninja Gaiden games have some of the best music on the NES. But I did feel like the cutscenes in this one were a little bit disappointing. Though the last boss, that mech dragon, was a very cool design. Even though I'm not really sure what the progression was there in the end of Clancy basically became a tyrant. And then when we killed him, his true form was like an alien thing in the wall. Then we killed that, and then he turns into a mechanical dragon. And I don't know, just seems like it was there because you expect that there's going to be multiple forms of the last boss. I don't really feel like they did the work of explaining how Clancy transforms into these things, but okay, it's fine. It's fine. But of course, even though we're done playing the game, we're not done with our look at this right now, because of course we will be looking at the manual as we do with these games. So we'll just take a short little break, and we will be back and see if the manual sheds any light on the story and the characters of Ninja Gaiden 3. Ninja Gaiden 3, the ancient ship of doom. Or at least that's what the game is called. Not a whole lot of shipping in this game, I feel. The oldest ship I know of is Kirk Spock. This ship might be older than that, I don't know. Let's have a look at the manual, see what it has to say. Official Nintendo seal of quality. Follow the safety precautions. Ninja Gaiden 3 manual. Here's the table of contents. Alright, here's the good stuff. The story. Let's get into this. The tale of the Dragon Sword. Long before the civilization of mankind, extremely fierce yet primitive life forms roamed the earth and battled for supremacy. Thousands of years ago, the final battle took place. One side, after using all of its strength, perished, while the other was sent to and sealed off in a different dimension. The tale of this battle was preserved in legend after mankind began to populate the earth, and the two forces, known respectively as the gods of the dragon and the demons of darkness, came to be revered by certain clans among the people. Why haven't we gotten that game? By the summer of AD 1988, even this ancient great tale had almost been completely forgotten. However, one very evil being appeared, and with the help of his followers, began to build an empire of darkness. That being was Jakio, a member of the demon clan who plotted to bring the demons of darkness back to the earth. He secretly schemed to steal and bring together, for the first time in eons, the two statues of light and darkness, said to contain great magical power. This would open the passageway between the dimensions. On the left, you can see like an illustration of Jakio. He's got like a little smile on his face. He's happy about being the king of evil and all that. He's happy with his place in the world. And on the right, we have an image of the dragon and the demon locked in combat. A little picture of Ashtar in the middle there. There was, however, one man who would stop at nothing to foil Jakio's evil plans. Head of the dragon clan, Ken Hayabusa. After entrusting the dragon's sword, an heirloom of the family, and clan so old that no one knew when it had been made, to his son Ryu, Ken left for the fateful battle. Unfortunately, Ken was defeated by a powerful warrior, and the statue he was protecting fell into the hands of Jakio. After hearing of his father's death, Ryu took the dragon's sword and went to America. Aided by a female CIA spy, Irene, Ryu stealthily infiltrated Jakio's secret. There was nothing stealthy about that. He just ran in and started killing everything. Just killing everything with his sword and like fireballs. And Ryu does not use stealth. He is not that kind of ninja. He is the kill everything ninja. The inevitable duel between them ended in victory for Ryu. Jakio was vanquished along with his empire of darkness, or so it seemed. Watching this duel from afar was the real evil, the head of the demon clan, the evil lord himself, Ashtar. As it turned out, Jakio was nothing more than a pawn of this greater power. Ashtar hid himself in the darkness, assessing his enemy. His eyes shined and he licked his lips. He had only to wait for his enemy. I assume that Ashtar's wearing a mask. Like, that's not his actual face, because he doesn't have lips, as we can see. Like, maybe he has lips underneath the mask, and that's what he's licking. A year passed. While pursuing her investigation into the movements of the mysterious Ashtar, Irene suddenly disappeared. A super-secret CIA Special Force platoon then became pinned down in front of some old ruins that were believed to house Ashtar's headquarters. The situation looked desperate. At this part, Ashtar, who himself had actually seen the birth of the dragon's sword and knew its potentially awesome powers, emerged from the depths of his dark realm. Ryu, who knew nothing of all this, was in grave danger as Ashtar worked his black magic to destroy him. And now, the saga continues with the final tale of battle for our brave hero. After Ryu's victorious duel with Jakio, Ashtar returned to the bowels of darkness and bided his time. But another evil creature was already on its way, as another adventure awaits the unsuspecting Ryu Hayabusa in this, the final chapter of Ninja Gaiden. Alright, so that's the story of the first two games. Though there is a strange thing to mention, that apparently this game actually takes place between Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2. Doesn't actually mention that in the manual, but the reason I say that is because in the Japanese version of the game, when you beat the game, it says, "To be continued in Ninja Gaiden 2." They remove that from the US version. Or rather, I should say, it says, "To be continued in Ninja Ryukenden 2." Is its Japanese name. So this is a story that takes place between 1 and 3, which would make some sense because Ryu has his sword in Ninja Gaiden 3, and he loses his sword at the end of 2. His sword sacrifices itself to save Irene. So yeah, that would make sense. Though I do have to think that that does kind of ruin the plot twist of Irene not actually being dead in this game, because if you know this takes place before 2, and Irene was in 2, then you know she's not dead in this game, so kind of, I don't know, kind of messes up that little plot twist. Anyway, the US version of the game in the manual doesn't actually mention... I guess, honestly, it doesn't really matter that much, but it doesn't mention that. It makes it sound like this takes place after 2. Okay, continue modes. You'll be given only 5 chances to continue your game. Push the start button when you reach the game over screen. Explanations of screen symbols. So, I mean, that's the bar we have at the top. Operation of game console. Press left and right to run. Down to crouch, up to climb up, down to climb down. Attacking from a wall. When you're hanging from a wall, you can attack with special weapons like the fireballs. Climb on top of a wall. Oh, climbing on top of a wall is new tech that was added to Ninja Gaiden 3. In this game, when you get to the high point of a wall, you can press the D-pad in the direction Ryu is facing, an A button, and he will automatically jump on top of the wall. He didn't do that in the previous 2 games. Improved wall tech for Ryu in this game. Hanging down. This was also something you might have seen Ryu do a few times in the game. That is new in Ninja Gaiden 3. He was not able to hang from things in the first 2 games. And he can use his special weapons when he's hanging. Here's items like the Ninja Power, the Recovery Medicine, the Scroll of the Spirit of the Dragon, and the 1-Up. And the Dragon Spirit Sword. The power of the Dragon God dwells in this powerful sword. Take this, you'll widen your range of attack. Special weapons like the Windmill Throwing Star, the Fire Dragon Balls, the Fire Wheel Art, which were in previous games. Vacuum Wave Art was the new one in this game, in which you could throw things up and down at the same time, and is used to great effect in various parts of this game. The Invincible Fire Wheel, making a return. The cast. There's Ryu Hayabusa, the descendant of the Dragon Clan. In the fight with Jacchio, the spirit of the Ninja Dragon was awakened. He was falsely accused of Irene's murder and sets out to find the truth. There's Irene Liu, CIA Specialist Task Force Analyst. She met Ryu through the Jacchio case. She was said to have died in the process of further investigation of Jacchio, but... A. Foster, high-ranking CIA staff officer. He uses Ryu to crush the evil designs of Jacchio. He discovers a certain fact. What would that fact be? What could it be? H.P. Clancy, a mysterious person Ryu meets. It seems he knows something about Irene's case, but... Getting some initials here. Foster's name begins with A, and Clancy's name has the initials H.P. I can't believe Clancy betrayed us. I still feel heartbroken over that. The 4 great beasts. Here are the 4 bosses that we fought in the first 4 stages. There's Mantis Warrior, a Mantis Bionoid, the Beast Commander of Fire. With sabers on both arms, he guards himself against attacks by Ryu's sword. The fire that comes out of his chest crawls around the ground and attacks Ryu. Not good at close combat. So he was in the first stage, the factory, the lab, I should say, that Irene was investigating. Stage 2 boss, Night Diver, the Beast Commander of the Sky. Able to fly freely through the sky, he is especially good at surprise attacks from the sky. Death blows are dealt out with tremendous momentum, and like a glowing bomb, he attacks Ryu. So he was the boss of the Lava Cave stage. Stage 3 boss, Great Kogane, the Beast Commander of Water, a lizard bionoid skilled in ninja arts. He can split his body and use windmills throwing stars to plague Ryu. So he was the guy that had a twin. That fight didn't last very long. Stage 4 boss, Sand Eater, the Beast Commander of Earth. He is ranked as the leader of the 4 main unit Beast Commanders. He can move freely through the earth and attack with Ryu's ninja Fire Wheel Art. So you have, fire, wind, water, earth. Like a 4 Heavenly Kings thing, but they're bionoids, is the thing. And then compliance with FCC regulations, the most toughest boss of all. And then, of course, you have, advisor. You have memo. Right in the memo section, write your notes. That's the manual. Not that much flavor text, really, in this manual, I think. I mean, I do like some of the illustrations. Like, there's Robert T.S. right there. And I do like the Jacchio illustration there. But, I Not that much additional lore, but maybe we can still get a little bit more lore. Because, hey, there's also Nintendo's power coverage of Ninja Gaiden 3. Unfortunately, they did not make a strategy guide for this like they did with 2. You might remember that with Ninja Gaiden 2, they had like this entire comic that they drew for the strategy guide. They had like a whole thing. They did not do all that for Ninja Gaiden 3. This just got a standard entry in Nintendo Power. But let's see what they wrote about it. They say here that Ninja Gaiden 3, The Ancient Ship of Doom, is Tecmo's third ninja action thriller based on the hit arcade game. Well, the first game was an arcade game. The others weren't. Rumor has it that this is Ryu's final appearance. At least he goes out with a bang. The action is non-stop with some great new moves, like holding bars, swinging up on platforms from below. The menacing story told in cinema scenes ties each of the 7 stages of gameplay together. Look for great graphics and super control, just like in the first 2 Ninja Gaiden games for the NES. But more than anything else, look for a challenge that won't quit. You know, it didn't have to not quit. Could have quit a little bit. Could have given you more continues. Illustration of the dragon here. I don't know if and that might just might be a commissioned illustration from Nintendo Power, as they would do many times for their articles. I don't think that's official Ninja Gaiden 3 art. This is a nice little illustration, I think. You have Ryu standing in front of the moon. On the left side, you have scenes from Ninja Gaiden 1. You have Irene, the 2 statues, Ryu's father and Malth, dueling in front of the moon. You have Foster. On the bottom, you have Castle Rock. In the lower right, you have Irene falling off the cliff. And on the upper right, you have Robert and Ashtar. So I would like to see like a high-res version of this illustration, because this is okay. I think it's pretty good. Although, it also seems like there's something that should be on the top section, but it seems like it's cut off. I don't know what would be in the top. So let's see, what else do we have? Act 1, the secret lab, is filled with bizarre biological experiments. Some in huge glass tanks, others that attack Ryu. Ninja guards and hovering robots can pop up in Act 1, but Ryu can handle them all. Yeah, this stage is just a warm-up. For the cutscene, it mentions that atop a cliff, high above the pounding ocean waves, Irene Liu runs for her life. Pursuing her is a man masquerading as Ryu. At the brink of the cliff, a stone gives way and Irene falls. When Ryu learns of the tragedy, he vows to seek revenge, beginning with the laboratory complex Irene was investigating. And according to this, the boss is Some Like It Hot. The CIA received a tip about a mysterious Dr. Flame experimenting with mutated life forms. They sent operative Irene Liu to snoop around, and too bad for her, the doctor didn't appreciate house calls. Okay, so it's clear that whoever was writing this did not have the manual or any additional information about what the names of these bosses are supposed to be or what their backstory is supposed to be, so they're making it up. It's always fun when they make it up. Let's see what else they make up. Got Act 2. The road to the Castle Rock Fortress leads through a parched desert of treacherous sands that swallow men whole. Ryu must race through an underground passage where the Earth's molten interior threatens to rise up and drown him in fiery lava. To make things more interesting, enemies appear continuously, some of them swooping down from the air. And inside the tunnel, Ryu will come face to face with a new horror. In the cutscene, it says, having taken the lab by storm, Ryu realizes that something very strange was going on there. Scientists don't normally keep armed killers. But then a mysterious man appears who urges Ryu to seek out the Castle Rock Fortress, where he claims Irene is being held. Ryu doesn't ask any more questions. Time is too short. Well, I mean, he does ask questions, and Clancy says, no, I can't tell you. We don't have time. You just have to go. The boss is the Gorgon. The Gorgon is a huge flying mutant who hurls fireballs collected from the lava of his domain. He looks like something cooked up by a mad scientist, and maybe he is. Yeah, the copywriter here at Nintendo Power is like, maybe. Like mad science, right? Probably made this, I suppose. Act 3. Ryu plunges into the steamy swamp of the Amazon, moving right to left. Yes, even Nintendo Power knows that's wrong. Ryu uses creepers to hang from and to avoid enemies like piranha fish that leap with snapping jaws from the murky river. Then he's climbing through a dark, wet passage inside a mountain while battling the forces of evil. He doesn't know who's commanding the enemies, just that he must continue if he is to avenge Irene. For the cutscene, it says, having breached the outer defenses of Castle Rock, Ryu meets the video image of Foster, who has been waiting for him. He boasts that nobody has ever left alive, but when Ryu asked if Irene is being held here, Foster is surprised. Obviously, there is more to the mystery, and Ryu must press on. The boss are the Mutant Twins. The Mutant Twins are lords of this underworld, but it's not much to write home about. No one knows how they got here. Ryu intends to find out. Yeah, once again, man, I don't know. It's like these two twins, they throw throwing stars. Look, no one knows how they got here. It's a mystery. We'll move on. Act 4. Ryu has reached the foundations of Castle Rock Fortress. It's onto the dungeons where piercing spikes shoot up through seemingly solid floors. Don't get caught flat-footed. Fortunately, there are heavy chains overhead, to which Ryu can cling in some safety. Armored robots, enemy ninjas, and tiny jet fighters all home in on Ryu at every step. Yeah, I never really pointed that out, did I? Like, there are tiny spaceships, sometimes, that attack you. That seems it's an annoying enemy, and it seems like it kind of stands out. Like, you have these tiny jets that come in from the sides of the screen and shoot at you. I was like, what is this? What kind of enemy is this? For the cutscene, it says, this mysterious stranger who appeared at the end of Act 1 reappears, bragging that he was the one who eliminated Irene, but before Ryu can lay his sword on the scum, he flies away as if he has rockets in his shoes. Determined, Ryu... That's not correct, Nintendo Power. The mysterious stranger at the end of Act 1 was Clancy, and this person is the evil clone. Those are separate people. Nintendo Power thought that they were the same person, and they were not. This is irresponsible reporting from Nintendo Power, who generally is considered to be a trustworthy name in video game journalism. But this is libel, I think. I think Clancy could sue Nintendo Power for this defamation of his name. It's not Clancy. The boss is Fortress Fats. All right, they're just having a good time now. The protector of the fortress is yet another mutated fiend. He won't take a pound of flesh. He just likes to pound on flesh. Ryu's flesh. They're making this boss fight sound a lot more interesting than it actually is. Who are these bosses anyway? I don't... Like I said, they're just having fun with it now. This was the boss who, like, went underground and then threw fire wheels. I don't know what any of this text has to do with this boss. Act 5. Swarms of hoverpods, toadmen, and other enemies appear as Ryu presses into the fortress. He must ride a series of platforms before meeting laser mutants. Finally, he reaches the outer ramparts of the fortress. The action is intense and seems endless. Back inside, Ryu meets Foster. Then comes a fight with a powerful Bionoid. So there's less information here about the later acts, because, hey, they can't give away everything. The cutscene says, another encounter with a mysterious man reveals that his name is Clancy, and that he has been helping Foster on a bizarre project involving life energy and Bionoids, super mutants, like the bruisers Ryu has been fighting. But now Clancy claims to be an innocent, and wants Ryu to go after Foster. For Act 6, it says, inside the subspace dimension, Ryu finds an icy world of high-speed drops and countless enemies. Further on, the world becomes a biomass of roots and rotting evil. Yeah, that it does indeed. The cutscene says, by now the plot is getting so thick you could eat it with chopsticks. Clancy reveals that a rift in the ruins of Castle Rock Fortress leads to a subspace dimension that he intends to rule using life energy and mutants. He will also control the doorway back to our universe. Obviously, Clancy has got to be stopped. Ryu is on it. Not life energy and mutants. Ryu was indeed on it. Then the final page, we get this nice artwork here of Ryu standing on the cliff looking at Castle Rock with the gigantic form of Irene emerging In the distance, clearly Irene has been irradiated with life energy, creating Mega Irene, who is approaching from the distance. Who knows what her intentions are? But this is going to be a heartbreaking battle. But Ryu has to do it to save the world. He's the only one who can. None of us want to see this battle happen, but it's happening. Act 7, the final chapter. Now Clancy reveals the truth of Castle Rock and the huge dimensional warship known as the Ancient Ship of Doom, even though he never calls it that. Ryu's final chapter leads him into the heart of the ship, where electrified walls and blind jumps could end the hope of Earth. Skill, patience, and a noble cause are Ryu's only hope. Then in the lower right, you have some neat artwork there. I assume that's Clancy transforming. He's just standing there with light coming off of him, and then you have his transformed form behind him. There's some neat artwork. So that would be Nintendo Power's coverage of Ninja Gaiden 3, The Ancient Ship of Doom. I would have liked it if they had actually gone all out and made a comic, but like I said, they did not. So, oh well. I guess that's all really that we have to say about Ninja Gaiden 3. Like I said, I do feel that it's probably the weakest in the trilogy, but it is still a good game. Even if I don't like it as much as the first and second games, it still is a fun game to play once you are able to actually make some progress, despite the limited continues. Probably this game is a lot more tolerable to play today than it was back on the NES because, save states. So the whole continues thing doesn't exactly matter. But it's still a good game. Has good music. Story and cutscenes a little disappointing, I thought. But in any case, that is the end of the Ninja Gaiden NES trilogy and the end of Ryu Hayabusa's 8-bit adventures. Now, of course, Ryu Hayabusa would come back. He would return in different games, such as the Dead or Alive games. And then the Ninja Gaiden games got a continuation a couple of generations later. Actually, not... 3 generations later, because this was NES, then you had Super Nintendo, then you would have N64 after that. Then on the GameCube generation, that's when the Ninja Gaiden series started to come back. So there was that. Ryu hasn't been in Smash Brothers, though. Seems like he should be. I mean, Ninja Gaiden was a very popular trilogy on the NES. Even if Ryu might not be associated very much with Nintendo now. Seems like that would be a character. A candidate to add to Smash Brothers. Well, anyway. No. I think that the game's resetting. Just turn that off. So, in the past couple of years, I also did the previous 2 games, so I hope you've enjoyed these playthroughs of the 3 NES Ninja Gaiden games. One of my favorite series from the 8-bit NES, and I would still say that they hold up to play today, though, of course, they are very difficult and have hard learning curves. Actually, I would say that usually when it comes to playing hard games, I don't really care what controller I use. Like, I can adapt to any controller. The Ninja Gaiden games are an exception. For these games, I have to use my old NES controller. So I got a USB adapter for that. And that's the one that I pull out if I'm going to play a Ninja Gaiden game. Just because that's where the muscle memory is. I don't know how well I would do on using a different controller. Because the dexterity of your thumbs on the buttons have to be to such an extent to play these, you really have to use a controller that you're very good at. And that really is... So I would say that I don't have that issue with any other game, but these games I do. So they are very hard, but I do think that they are very fun to play once you get acclimated to them. In any case, I hope you've enjoyed watching these 3 playthroughs. And that has been it for Ryu Hayabusa on the NES. Irene wasn't captured this time. We thought she was dead, but she wasn't captured this time. So it's a step up. But it did end up with Ryu and Irene standing on a rock, looking at the sun. They do that a lot, and I guess that's their version of a date. That's their date night. Save the world and then watch the sun as they stand on a rock, and they're watching a castle disintegrate. It's a pretty fun night. It's probably better than just watching Netflix or something.